From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay, they come together for one cause: to geek out. They are the Council of the Blurs. Blurred powers unite. Engage.
Everything should be coming in nice and smooth. All right, and we're good to go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Council of the Blurs. I'm, of course, your host, Ken Gray, the Dreadlock Blurred, and today I am joined by the lovely ladies tonight, Enigma's Girl and Dark Angel 29. Harold will most likely not be joining us tonight. I believe he has a family situation that he has to deal with, so hopefully everything is going well on his side, and if anything, you just give him a shout out if you want. All his social media, labels are in the description box, so you can give him a shout out there. Of course, quick shameless plug, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you are watching us on YouTube, that's what you do. Hit the bell right next to the subscribe button so you know when we drop a live video. If you're watching us on Facebook, please go to our Facebook fan page and like us there. A lot of this stuff will be shared up on there as we speak. A lot of stuff has been being shared up there for the most part. Of course, Instagram, Discord, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Every place you need to find us is in the description box, so you can just go right there. So, all that being said, we're just gonna jump right in. It's been a very long week. It's been
2 weeks.
It's been a long 2 weeks. Here in America. So we're just kind of happy to. I mean, nothing's normal. Nothing is normal, so to speak. So, and of course, we're not going to cover all that stuff here because we just really don't want to. So, decided to just do a good old-fashioned check-in on the world of entertainment news. A lot of things have been dropping over the past couple of weeks or so. A lot of stuff this week, mainly. So, we figured we could just sit back and talk about a couple of those things while we're here. So this probably isn't going to be too long of a show. A lot of us are pretty tired, really. So we're just probably going to discuss these things and just keep it moving. Of course, if you're watching, if you're in the comment section, please feel free to add to the conversation as well. All that stuff is welcome. Davion, what is going on, big dog? Be sure to follow him also. He has a podcast too called The Shamar Williams Show. So please definitely give that a check out whenever you get the chance, okay? But before we begin, how is everybody else doing? How are you guys doing? You guys good? Straight?
Doing good. Working on stuff, and that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just exhausted. I think I'm mentally drained at this point.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. Smoking.
I got a lot of stuff to do.
Oh, okay.
The end of the month is approaching very quickly.
Yeah, I know, right? Today's already the 12th. And tomorrow's Friday the 13th. So, do with that what you will.
Absolutely not. I'm not getting a PS5. That is absolutely a negative on that.
Oh, snap. Oh, my God. I totally forgot. Happy Console Day.
Yeah.
I meant to lead it in with that. The PS5 dropped today. Kim pretty much speaks for all of us at this point. We're not getting one now. I say we're gonna give it about maybe 6 to 8 months, or at least when something substantial drops. Like Spider-Man Miles Morales, I can literally get that on the PS4. Plus, I'm not even done with Spider-Man. I'm not even finished with that. So once I finish with that, then we'll look at Spider-Man Miles Morales, which does look really good. I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching the videos. It looks awesome, but it is not awesome enough to warrant me getting a PS5 right now.
And isn't that one of those games that actually is coming out on the PlayStation 4 anyway? So you could just get the deluxe version and they can just move it over to the PS5.
Exactly. It's like everything. A lot of things coming out right now, you really can't get on the PS4. So it's like, why? I mean, why spend the extra $500 now when I could just do it later when something really substantial comes out, like God of War? Like
when it's an actual exclusive to the PS5.
Exactly. Isan, what is up, big dog? what's up. So like, once something more, exactly like Kim said, it's like once something more exclusive gets released, that's when we'll get it. But other than that, not so
And
much of a
even then, it
rush.
has to be more substantial than that. I have to have for the PS4. It took me about a year or so before I got it, and I had to put
Right.
a bunch of games out before it even got to that
Yeah.
point. So
Like when PS4 dropped, I remember there wasn't too many exclusive for it out in this release. I know I think Injustice was re-released for the PS4, but I already have it on PS3, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So like Davion, you're right. Resident Evil 8, yeah, sure, but like that's probably not gonna come out until like spring,
2022.
yes, springtime or something like that. So literally, like I'm thinking, like literally spring break is when we'll probably get a PS5 in the house. Really, because
Yeah, I'm waiting until after tax season because usually around June, July they usually put out the next console. So they'll usually announce it in springtime to put it out in the summertime, and then the next console, which I'm hoping the next console has the ability for the expandable storage.
Yeah.
So that way I don't have to worry about that because I mean, as much as I would love, to have a PS5 right now, I don't think the capability's up there even with the 1 terabyte.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I'm not saying it's a waste of money, but at the same time, I mean, nothing against anyone who got it day one. I have a lot of friends. People were literally posting up PS5 pictures like they just had a new baby. Like
a kid is going to school for the first day.
Like it was a baby announcement. Like I don't know, like first day pics and all that stuff. I'm like, my bro did a funny video because he actually just had a baby like last month. So he did a video of the PS5 in the crib and he picked it up. Everybody thinking he was picking up his baby girl. He's picking up the PS5.
Wow.
That is trolling of the highest level, but it was hilarious. So needless to say, I laughed. But no, not right now. I wouldn't even get it I wouldn't even get it for Christmas. Like I'm literally spring. Yeah.
Too many bugs. It's always too many bugs. Almost always too many problems between Xbox and PS5.
Yeah.
There's going to be a multitude of issues. I'm like, as far as all the articles bouncing out right now, as far as everything that's happening, it's like you can't keep up at this point. As how many things are wrong. I'm like, I never understand why people get launch day in from anything anyway. Because, and the second thing is that usually it's going to go down in price by next year anyway. So at least
exactly the point.
Like it was like so. Why not wait? Like, so, why? If you wait, then that tells them, hey, you're charging too much for your consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Now, granted, 500, at least by today's standards, isn't really too much.
But in the situation that we're in right now,
in the grand scheme of things, it's like, I mean, we got more important things to spend our money on right now.
Yeah.
Than the PS5. Like, and again, don't get me wrong, I love the design. It's a beautiful looking console, but not right now. Not right now. Like Kim said, wait for all the kinks to be worked out. Wait for something a little bit more exclusive to come out, and that's when we'll jump on it. It is what it is. So
I'm not even pay for the extra memory if I have to. Like, if they come up with a 5 terabyte, I'm like, okay.
Now, granted, my PS4 has already downloaded the latest update where I can do remote play from the PS5, so that's apparently a thing. So that's cool.
I just got it. I
you
just got that little button, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. But again, next year. But everybody else, enjoy your consoles. Like, have fun. Definitely enjoy yourselves. But as for us, as for the console, not yet.
Don't expect so much money from GameStop when you want the new one, though.
No. Like, so, it is what it is. But, other than that, we're just going to jump right into it. Again, like I said, a lot of news dropped as far as entertainment-related stuff. So, we figure we're going to talk about a couple of those things and, keep it moving. If you guys have any entertainment news-worthy things that you might want to discuss in the chat or bring up in the chat, you're welcome to do so. So, the first thing I actually have on my list is the fact that the Scorpion King is actually going to be rebooted by The Rock himself.
See, I actually didn't have a chance to even look that up or even I heard about it, so I'm still in the dark on that one.
So
Particular.
it's literally it was literally breaking news. So Dwayne Johnson, who of course was the first initial star of the Scorpion King movie franchise, like it got so far that it actually separated itself from the Mummy franchise, which is where it came from in the first place. Him and his ex-wife, Danny Garcia, they're both going to be teaming up to reboot the franchise and everything. Not much else is known about it. They don't have like a projected date. They haven't even mentioned anything as far as casting is concerned. But I thought it was interesting that a franchise that kind of made him, aside from wrestling, a franchise that kind of made him a big deal in movies is actually a movie that he plans to reboot, like a franchise that he plans to reboot. Like,
isn't that the movie where he had really bad CGI?
Yeah,
that,
he's picked like a Snapchat filter, a bad one.
well,
Okay,
that was the Mummy Returns where he showed up as a little scorpion and oh my god, even I knew those effects were bad. And how
was it Mummy Returns or it was a Scorpion King?
He wasn't a scorpion in the Scorpion King.
It was Mummy Returns for a little bit.
Yeah. He was the final boss of the movie, and he just looked so bad. It was so bad.
It was a bad Snapchat filter.
So very bad.
It even existed. Look at that.
Like, I know there's a channel that I follow on YouTube where they talk about visual effects and stuff. They actually took that and made it look a lot better. But the actual Scorpion King movie spinoff, it was okay. You know, I know at the time, you know, we were like probably still in high school when that movie came out. Holy crap, we were.
I don't know how old I was at that time. I don't know how old.
You're really gonna stick to that narrative, aren't you?
Yep.
Anyway.
Oh man, but seriously though, why remake that particular movie though? What was their thought process on that? Did they even say?
They didn't really say. But truth is, I mean, the franchise just kind of went off the hinges after literally after the first initial one. Like there's like I think they're like 4 or 5 sequels in. They just keep making sequels to this movie for some reason. And it's like, it seems like each movie they just keep making him younger and younger and younger. And it's like,
and worse.
Why? Why does this thing keep happening? I mean, granted, it's giving some people work, but it's like Sci-Fi Channel levels of bad. Like, you know. And maybe that's probably why he decided to just take this franchise that kind of made him famous and reboot it. What direction they're going to take, we have no idea. I have absolutely no clue what's going to happen, but
does that say something about the originality of Hollywood right now that we have to remake a movie that was already deemed terrible?
Well, that we've had this discussion many times. Even here on the council, we've talked about reboots and remakes and how there's positives to it and there's negatives to it because
I mean, if it's a terrible movie, I guess it's an opportunity to make it better.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but in this particular. But it's like anybody really asking for this. So that's a better way of me placing this. Like, who really wants this?
No one asked for any movie.
I mean, at the end of the day, the only people who probably really ask for this are probably production studios and production companies. Again, like we've talked about before, at the end of the day, what's their main focus? Making money. And if there's a way they can squeeze out money out of this
right now, so they have to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, because this is like, it's like this is one. The only reason I'm saying that is because of what's that movie that they messed up? Gosh, it was supposed to be the other spinoff of this, the most recent one.
Fast and Furious?
No, of the Mummy franchise. Oh, I can't think of the stupid movie's name.
The Dark Universe, you mean?
Yeah, the Dark Universe movie. What is that one? Whatever. I can't. Yeah. So. Whatever the most recent one is, again, I'm tired, so my brain is not going to be functioning.
The Invisible Man?
No, the Mummy
remake with Tom Cruise?
With Tom Cruise, yeah. With Tom Cruise. That was another one where nobody asked for it. And it was like nobody wanted that movie. And that movie came out so much worse than we expected it to come out.
Oh, it was really bad.
You couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of it. I'm like, my dad heard it. He was like, oh man, that sounds awesome. And I was like, no, I was watching and I'm like, no. And he went and watched it himself. He's like, what was that? I told you no.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like the first, I literally, I pushed myself through the first 20 minutes. I'll give it that. I pushed myself through the first 20 minutes and I turned it off. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, the first 10 minutes of the movie, you already know this is going to be complete garbage. So I'm kind of in that kind of mindset at this point of like, why not just make something in addition to that? Why not bring back Brendan Fraser as an older man and, you know, going back into the, you know, market and like doing something more original that way, you know?
And it's funny because I know around that time, Brendan Fraser was kind of in that mode where it's like nobody wanted to work with him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't until like Doom Patrol where like Brendan Fraser really started to get back to his form, and I'm really happy for him because like right now I think he lost some weight. He's looking good. He's looking healthy. They really could have did something like you said, like where they could have brought him in as like an old man, or maybe found some way to bring him from the past into the future or some mess like that. Or they could have just kept it in the past. Really, they didn't even have to do it modern times.
And they could have just made him just an older version of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, him and his son. You didn't have to bring back, I forget the actress's name, but you didn't have to bring back the actress. Like him and his son, you know, they're coming back, they're doing a different thing.
Right.
You know, not Indiana Jones style. Let's not do it that way. That's not, no Crystal Skull style.
No.
But basically doing the same type of thing where you have this comedic relief. And I think it's what we're missing in a lot of the movie, the Mummy movies, is that the part about the Mummy movies that made them so good is that you had all this action and then you had comedic relief.
Right. And
it made it so, because it was never a dull moment. You didn't have a time to kind of react and go, okay, here's this, here's that. Like, oh, there's the action here, and here's Brendan Fraser being funny. It was hilarious. Like,
special effects aside, the Mummy movies, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, they actually still hold up.
Yeah.
Like, the Curse, what is that? Curse of the Jade Emperor, is that what it is? Is that one like? No, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. That was the last Mummy movie that came out with Jet Li. I saw what they were trying to do, but it was just like,
It's a lot of it. It's just so much happening. And like I said, I just think they need to go back to their roots. Instead, if you really want to reboot this franchise, I think you need to just go back to. That's why I was so confused, because it was literally named The Mummy.
Yeah.
The Tom Cruise movie was named The Mummy. That's why I was so confused.
It actually confused the hell out of a lot of people, because everybody's like, they're remaking The Mummy? I was like, oh, snap. But like, is Tom Cruise like, what? I don't remember him in the original. What are y'all talking about?
Yeah, that's why I had to look it up. I'm like, it was driving me nuts. I'm like, I couldn't figure it out, but that's why, because they named it The Mummy.
I'll even go on record to say this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Dracula Untold should have been the Star of the Dark Universe. I don't care what nobody says. And that movie, I know a lot of people ragged on it, but I enjoyed Dracula Untold. It was a different take on the Dracula mythos. I really enjoyed it. But a lot of people didn't feel that way. So, but to me, that should have been the Star of the Dark multiverse. But again, the other problem is they tried to go all in Marvel MCU style. And it's like, no. Like, we had no idea if Iron Man was going to be a success or a failure. We had no idea. Like, and I think a lot of the MCU, like, rided on the basis on if Iron Man was going to be good or not. It just so happens that it turned out to be great. And then everything else just fell into place. But I don't know how The Rock is going to spin this. I don't know how they're going to work this out. It's going to be very interesting. So
as I said, maybe instead of doing another Scorpion King movie, maybe we just need to do something, like I said, more original. Like maybe who is the producer? Is Paramount or is it Universal?
Universal.
Yeah,
like they were behind all that stuff. Yeah.
I was like, so Universal really needs to come together with the people. Like, look, instead of us remaking this, let's think about this for a second. Our first two movies did spectacular, even with the bad CGI in the second one. I'm like, our first two movies did amazing. What formula was in that movie that made it work? Now take that, maybe add The Rock in, throw him in there a little bit, but maybe make him encounter the Scorpion King again in a different way, shape, or form. Like make it the Return of the Scorpion King rather than the Scorpion King.
Like he's got all the muscles in the world right now, so they probably could. Like,
I'm like, they could have made it the return of the Scorpion King, like the return or the return of the Mummy. It could be just something return, not the return money returns, but something like basically bringing back that old thing. But now he no longer has the resources or the energy like he did when he was younger.
Right.
So he can no longer do all that running and screaming and jumping, and he has his son with him. So basically, he now has to do everything the right way.
I guarantee if I sat down and thought about it, I could write a good basis for a dark universe. I probably could, but I'm not going to. So,
but yeah, that's a whole different level though. But now that I know that, I'm like, I'll keep an eye out for a trailer, but I have no faith.
It probably won't be for like a good minute. Like they literally like just announced this like yesterday.
But isn't he? First of all, pause. Isn't he working on a movie now?
He's working on a bunch of crap now. The Rock is always busy with something. He always has a new venture going on right now.
Like, why don't he just take a seat for like 2 seconds and just like stop putting out stuff? Like, just focus on one thing at a time.
Cause he got like 3 kids. That's why.
What?
He got 2 babies. He got like 2 babies at home. He gotta make that money.
I bet you there's a black actor out there that got more. Doesn't Kevin Hart have more kids?
Well, like him and The Rock both in the same boat. They always doing shit together. So like, what the heck? Like, come on now. Like,
I would be so upset if I saw Kevin Hart in the Mummy movie though. I would be pissed off. You know that, right? I would be angry. I'm like, it's bad enough I had to see him in Jumanji.
You know what? I dig the Jumanji movies, man. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like them, but I actually ended up really entertained by them. I really was. So, like, we just saw like the next level like a month or 2 ago. Mm-hmm. It was cute. It wasn't too bad, but Hollywood being Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, the next piece of news that we got. It's been announced that Mads Mikkelsen is in talks to possibly replace Johnny Depp as Grindelwald for Fantastic Beasts 3.
Bad idea.
Now, I like Mads Mikkelsen. I love him.
Yes.
He's a very underrated actor.
He's a very good actor. Bad idea.
I don't really like the direction that they're going to go with this.
No.
Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Johnny Depp has been in a long defamation court case with his ex-wife, Amber Heard. They've been locked in this thing for like what, a year, maybe more, maybe a little bit less than that.
Yeah.
So, because of the defamation case, Warner Brothers decided I believe they asked Johnny Depp to.
Well, it's because he lost the libel case.
That's what it is. Yeah. So
because he lost the libel case, basically they asked him to step down because at that moment he's basically still listed as a woman abuser, even though technically he is not, based upon her admitting that information was incorrect.
Right. So they asked him to relinquish his role, but they still paid him. So
yeah,
he still got his money, which is fantastic. He still got his money.
It's fantastic for them, but it's not fantastic for the fans, and that's why I think that's why I think they screw the pooch at this moment.
So like, I mean, I haven't watched any of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah, so I have. That's why I'm angry right now.
So like, I know there's a lot of people upset about this. In fact, I think even before this news was announced, there was a petition out to get Amber Heard to relinquish her role as Mira for Aquaman.
Yes, and I think I think that is more than fair. If you're gonna do that to Johnny Depp, she needs to go too.
Right. I mean, if we're gonna keep everything fair, it should be good. I mean, honestly speaking,
it's a double standard.
Yeah, I mean, she was pretty decent in Aquaman and Justice League, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, everyone went to go see it to see
she's
Jason
replaceable.
Momoa.
Yeah, she's replaceable.
I've seen a lot of people petition to get Emilia Clarke to replace her. That might work. That could work. There's actually a number of actresses they can go with.
That's what I'm saying. She's easily replaceable. The problem with Grindelwald is that Grindelwald, from the reveal of Grindelwald, that moment, it was Johnny Depp, and that was it.
Honestly speaking, I mean, like I said, I've never seen any of the movies, but don't really see anybody else playing the role of Grindelwald except Johnny Depp. Like,
if you have seen the movies, it's like, and it's not anything different from what he's played before. He's played that conniving,
yeah,
like, he's the same Sweeney Todd or the same Pirates of the Caribbean,
right.
But it works. It works in this movie because he's playing that conniving,
exactly,
jerk role, and he's being the evil person. And the problem is that you have invested so much into this storyline already, just to plop somebody else in there, which I'm not going to say he's not going to do a bad job. He's not.
Right.
But just to plop somebody else in there into the storyline and say, accept it, people. Accept it. I'm like, do you realize Harry Potter fans are not like that?
No.
We are not like that. We are
hardcore.
It's like, you take that away from me, and now it's like, I don't see anybody else but him.
Right.
So I'm like, and how are you going to do the makeup, the hair, everything else? Everything is Johnny Depp.
Right.
From head to toe is Johnny Depp. How do you explain the face change? How do you make that canon at this point? Like, do you make you're going to have to bring him back to do something to make it canon.
Like, it was different in the original Harry Potter movies when the original Dumbledore passed away and they had to get somebody new. That was different then.
Because you got somebody who looks similar to him. So, I'm like, this guy is how tall is he? Hold on.
Mads Mikkelsen is tall as hell. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think Johnny Depp was like short.
Johnny Depp is like 5, like what, 8?
See, Johnny Depp height 5'10".
Okay, close enough. And Mads Mikkelsen is like what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Well,
what I'm about to tell you right now. Come on, Kim. I'm having a moment. I'm telling you right now. I can't spell his name right to save my life. Yeah. He is 6 feet tall.
All right, so I mean,
it ain't that big of a
2-inch difference, but
it's visible when you're looking at another actor next to him.
Like, I mean, and not even just the height, but if you look at the types of characters that Mads Mikkelsen has played, and look at the type of characters that Johnny Depp has played, it's like
it's different.
It's almost like two different styles. Like,
yeah,
like Mads Mikkelsen is that very quiet,
Hannibal.
Exactly, that very quiet, menacing, but somewhat kind of charming type of actor. Well, Johnny Depp, he plays those weird, way out of the box type characters. That's what Johnny Depp
hate
does.
Johnny Depp. You hate him in this movie. You hate him.
So
Mads Mikkelsen, you can't hate. He's like the freaking killer you gotta love.
Yeah.
It's like Dexter. Like, you love to hate him. Like, why are you rooting for the bad guy? I don't know. But you're not doing that with Johnny Depp in this movie. You're not rooting for him. You're legitimately, you can't stand him. And that's a hard thing to do when you're in a movie. Like, he makes you want to punch him in the face. But you still love him as an actor, but it makes you want to punch him in the face. I'm like, and that's the thing, is that they're going to lose that type of energy in this next movie. And then where they left it off, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but you should have seen it already. So, spoiler alert, pretty much, when he walks off into the abyss, pretty much into the portal, where he disappears, that's how they left it off. He walks off. He walks off. So the last person we saw on screen before everybody else moved out of the building was Grindelwald as Johnny Depp. So now you're going to say he's now another person entirely? And a lot taller than all the actors on screen at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, so he done changed heights and, looks. I'm like, this is not normal. So this is going to be interesting to see, what they do. I'm not expecting it, but it's making me not want to watch this next movie. I really don't want, and I really think that it's not fair. I think that I don't think anybody, as far as, the franchise was going, was basically petitioning for Johnny Depp to be out.
Right.
I don't think anybody was doing it. I think if anything, I think the ex-wife should have been gone. the ex-wife should be gone, and that's bottom line. But
Yeah.
nobody was petitioning for him, because again, it's that double standard. He has to go because he's a male, and that's the way we feel, and that's the way we're angry because she made this complaint, but we found out it was the other way around.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people express their outrage over this. Like everybody's mad, everybody's mad by this piece of news. So it's like, you know, we don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know, but I know there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that are even saying that they may not even go see the third one. They're probably just gonna like leave it off like that and just keep it moving.
Yeah, it's like I might just, I don't even know. At this point, I'll probably just read the cliff notes. I'm like, I'll wait for it to be reviewed on YouTube or something like that, and just catch up that way, because I honestly don't want to give. I hate to say, I don't want to give the theater my money at this point. I don't want to give them my money to watch this, because I feel as though our voices as the people who are going to watch this were not heard.
Right.
You never you never looked at us. You looked at the dollar signs and said, well, we have to make this change. But really, we really didn't want the change. You could have let it slide, let that keep going, and then moving on. And then she could have stayed where she was at that point. If you're going to keep everybody together, we're all going to keep everybody in the same positions, keep them there, and then keep it moving and just walk it off.
Yeah.
And let him deal with it. If he has consequences he has to deal with, let him deal with that personally. And if you don't want to cast him after this point, or you're not making any more movies after this point, that's on you guys. You make that decision from there to not cast him in anything anymore. You can blacklist him from that point. But let him finish out the series.
I don't know. Politics isn't everything, especially in the movie industry. So all I could say is we're just going to have to stay posted on this, figure out what's going to happen, who they're going to cast and stuff. If it is indeed going to be Mads Mikkelsen, I've even heard them mention Colin Farrell possibly taking the role of Grindelwald,
but that makes no sense either.
I mean, I don't know. It's a conundrum, so to speak. It really is. So, and it sucks that it's happening to a franchise that's very popular with a lot of people. So it's one thing if it's just like some no-name movie that a lot of people didn't really know about, but when you're talking about a franchise, a casting change in a major franchise is a big deal, especially
of a major character, the person whose name is actually in the name of the actual movie. But just to explain to you why Colin Farrell would not work. Colin Farrell, Colin, I keep saying his name wrong on purpose. I don't know why. Don't mind me. Colin Farrell would not work because Colin Farrell became Johnny Depp in the first movie.
That's
why they can't switch him back.
Right.
It's not going to work. So they can't switch the two back together. They can't intertwine them back together unless they're going to make him back to who he was. But at that point, it makes no sense because it was a cover.
Right. So
basically, again, sorry if I spoiled anything for anybody, but yeah, they're not going to be able to put Colin Farrell back. So I don't think he's going to be, I think at this point, it'll be just the one. And then we're just going to pretty much have to either suck it up or just cancel.
Right.
Cancel.
So next up we got The Umbrella Academy has been greenlit for a season 3. I have yet to finish season 1.
Me neither.
I watched.
I can't get through it.
And I was like, okay, never mind.
I can't. I got all the way into the last episode and I still can't finish the last episode of Umbrella. I can't do it. It's like it's driving me nuts.
I don't remember what episode I'm on, but when I was watching it, I was into it. I was digging it. It seemed a little slow, but I was digging it. But by that point, season 2 had already came out, and I was like, well, I gotta finish season 1 first. And now season 3's been greenlit. I think it's supposed to be coming out next year. It's cool. Cool for the show. But I got a lot of catching up to do. Really.
Yeah. Personally, I am. Like I said, I'm not personally into it at this point. I mean, and that's literally where I stopped. I got to maybe I probably got very far into the last episode of the first season, before I cut it off and just couldn't watch it anymore because I just thought it was stupid. But that's just personally me. I'm very picky about my series. It was very intriguing up to that point, though. I will give you that. Up until that point, it had my attention the entire time. And for some reason, well, with the exception of what's her name's character, Mary J. Blige's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just why.
I mean, at some point, I'll probably try to get through the rest of season 1 and season 2, but I don't know. Like like I really just started watching it because a lot of people kept talking about it. It's not like how I was with The Boys, where The Boys like really got my attention, and like I watched the whole first season and second season of it. You know, it has to be like one of those shows that like has to really grab my attention. Now, the premise of the Umbrella Academy is not bad.
It's actually really good, and when you get further into it, it explains a lot. But then once you get to that point of explaining, you're like, I can already predict what's gonna happen.
Right.
And it's like, and that's where I'm at this point. I'm like, I can already see what's gonna happen. But I mean, I heard the season 2 was good, but I'm like, again, I'm like, I rather rewatch, rewatch series and like especially like the Queen's Gambit. I'd rewatch that before I watch Umbrella Academy and finish each season. So that's how bad I am.
Everybody keeps talking about the Queen's Gambit.
Oh,
I might have to give that a look.
It is so good. Oh, I sat down and watched it in one day. I couldn't stop watching it.
How many episodes is it?
I think it's only 8. It's not that many, but they're like,
and even that. Normally, I'd complain if a season was like too short, but now it's like, you know what? As long as they got their point across, I'm okay.
I think they began and ended it. I don't think it was more so.
It was like a limited series or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, it was just a beginning and ending. And I mean, I hate to say I was bawling by the end of it, but I was probably bawling, by the time I got done, because you get very vested in the characters. But it's very good. Anybody who's watching, I mean, I'm not a chess fan. I don't understand chess for the life of me. But the Queen's Gambit is such a good show, and you should totally watch it.
Yeah, I might have to give that a look. Like my taste for like different series have changed. Like, I mean, if it's something that's on like network TV or something like that, like, yeah, I mean, because that's a weekly thing, so I'm gonna tune in. Like things like any of the CW shows, This Is Us, things like that. Yeah, I'm gonna invest in those 12 to however many episodes they're gonna put out. But when it comes to a streaming service, it's like, we can move this along a little bit. Like The Boys, that was like what, 8 episodes? Season 2 was 8 episodes. I was cool with that. I'm like, yeah, I don't need anything else. They pretty much got everything they need to get out and say. This works.
I mean, you binge watch what's his face when it came on Netflix.
What?
Cobra Kai.
Well, Cobra Kai is awesome. So like,
you binge watch Cobra Kai.
Of course, I binge watch, and I mean, and then the same thing with Cobra Kai. Those were like 10 episodes this season. So I was like, I could get through that, no problem. It's not a big deal. That's how I was able to binge both seasons within like a weekend. So like, I mean, it goes by when you're engaged in it. That's the thing. Like, if you're really into it, it goes by pretty quickly. Right? But if you're like trying to hang in there, it's dragging. So like, we watched Altered Carbon season 1, enjoyed season 1. Season 2 had its moments where it's like, we can move this along here, like,
I fell asleep through half of it.
And now it's canceled. The whole series is canceled. But I mean, I think I like the noir detective thing for season 1. I think that's why I really dug it. Season 2, I don't know what they were really trying to do. They were trying to throw too many hats or whatever, so it just like it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But it was all right. It was okay, but speaking of TV shows
I'm gonna walk away on this one because you're about to ruin something for me because I haven't watched any of it yet.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm waiting on 3 seasons, so I'm gonna be back.
Okay, so Baby Yoda, or the child, or the asset from The Mandalorian, has come under fire from the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Those of you who watch the series, you should know what I'm talking about. But those who don't, prepare to be kind of spoiled a little bit. There's a character that was introduced into this episode that had a container full of eggs. She was trying to get to a rendezvous point so she can have her eggs fertilized. Baby Yoda, being a baby, and if any of you guys are parents or have been around kids for a long time, you know that babies just put things in their mouths. Baby Yoda was seen a couple times in this episode eating the eggs, just slurping them down like they were like it was a drink. Again, I understand the anger. I understand the frustration. This is what babies do. They put things in their mouth. It's like an ongoing battle between objects and kids. And you always got to keep an eye on them. I had my issues with it. I thought it was kind of messed up. I thought Mando should have been on top of that a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it's kind of true to real life. She should have put a lock on an egg caster or something. But aside from that, everybody was kind of up in arms about the whole situation. So I just figured I'd throw that out there because I thought that was an interesting piece of news that people were really that upset about it. It happens. I'd much rather it be something that was like that and that's something that was can harm a child's insides like so many things can when they're kids. But that's just my thing. And we can now move on. So Kim, you can come back in.
Wow. Okay.
So now we're going to move on to the next thing. Now, mind you, I haven't watched this movie yet, mostly because I'm not really going out of my way to watch it, but there's been a big controversy surrounding the remake of The Witches. And if I'm not mistaken, the controversy is something that people with disabilities took offense to.
Her hands.
Yeah. So, as you guys have noticed, in the remake of The Witches, they don't look like how they did in the original movie. Like, when all the witches, took off their wigs and their makeup and their mask and stuff, they look hideous. And Angelica Houston's character, she looked scariest. Now, Anne Hathaway kind of has this Melina thing going on with the lips. Like a Joker Melina thing happening here. Now, when she goes into witch mode, she has a three-fingered hand thing happening here. She looks like a jacked up ninja. They look like jacked up Ninja Turtle hands. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe people with disabilities took offense to that because they didn't like the way that was portrayed in the movie. Now, I believe Anne Hathaway has gone out of her way to apologize for how those things were portrayed, but I'm like, it's a movie about witches. Witches look jacked.
I'm so confused about what's going on right now.
I'm like, witches look jacked up. Like, if you kind of, and not to be offensive, but if you kind of associate yourself with a witch that looks like that, then, I don't know what to tell you. Witches look jacked up. Like, she had 3 fingers. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
and they're mad at Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway apologized, but
right.
She was playing a character. They put the makeup on her. They made everything that way.
So it's like, I guess people are still trying to find reasons to be mad at things, but it's like, it's what the filmmakers did. Like, I don't know what more you want. If you.
Well, they call it the radial club hand, right, which is what the actual disease or the issue is that causes that hand thing. Mm-hmm. But again, it's more so, I get it. It's more so like a bending of the hand and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's not everything is supposed to be offensive. And I'm going to say this out loud. And I get why people would be angry and I get why people be upset. And it's the same thing I sent you with the Valhalla thing at this point. I'm just not understanding the sensitivity and why everything has to like be politically correct. At what point do we stop becoming completely politically correct? Like, because everything we do is gonna offend somebody at this point.
I think, and this goes in with the rise of social media and the internet. People have so much access to so much information, and a lot of times the way this stuff is written and the way the narrative is spun is like it invokes a certain emotion in a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that we watched, we probably shouldn't have been watching when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of shit went over our heads as kids, and we
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize it until we watched these things as adults. Which is why a lot of us can like laugh at some of these things differently than we did when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
These days, people want to throw their emotions into everything, including politics.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to be honest, like a lot of people want to throw their emotions into everything, and sometimes things got to be approached from a logical state of mind. Like
Yeah.
you can't,
Was it? Mm-hmm.
your feelings can't get in the middle of trying to understand something.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm trying to understand is like I get being offensive if the whole idea was they were being offensive on purpose.
mm-hmm.
If their whole thing was I'm going to be offensive, I'm going to be completely and utterly offensive to you guys by doing this. There have been three-fingered characters in many different movies.
Exactly.
There has been characters that had, hand issues, facial issues, body deformities, things of that nature. It's not intended to mock the community. It's not intended to mock those people.
Exactly.
It's like it's in a sense it's almost art.
Yeah.
And it's basically where that is. It's art. So I understand like frustration and anger and feeling, that you're not inclusive and and everything else and that inclusivity that you want to feel in the community. But at what point do we draw the line and say, what is art and what is offensive? Where do we draw that line in the sand?
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if it's possible to draw lines in the sand anymore because so many people are so quick to feel some type of way about something when that's not even the intention of it. Like
Yeah.
The Witches is, for all intents and purposes, it's a kids movie. Like it's supposed to be a fantasy, adventure for families to watch.
Yeah.
And here we are having a discussion about people with a certain, whether they were born that way or if it happens in a certain deformity, feeling some type of way because characters in the movie have the same kind of deformity.
Yeah. And so are we going to get upset when we see a person in a wheelchair on the TV soon, or are we going to get upset?
And it's funny because we just have a discussion about inclusion.
Yeah.
In entertainment, we literally just had this discussion.
Yeah.
And it's like, like one of the things I found out lately, like a cast member from John Carpenter's The Thing was an actual amputee. He had both his arms amputated. But because of that, they were able to use it for the film's effect in the scene where one of the guys is trying to shock a person back to life, and the guy's stomach opens up and bites the person's arms off.
Mm-hmm.
That dude was an amputee, so it just made the effect look even better. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna be offended, at least try to push for more inclusion of people with those types of situations happening.
And that was my next question is, what if it was an actor that did have a disability? Would you be offended then?
And that's a really good question. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people aren't thinking that far ahead when it comes to things like this. All I know is that it just makes them feel bad, and now they're in
the moment, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm like, and there's a lot of things like even with us, like even with Black people, we do the same thing sometimes. It's like we get immediately offended sometimes when we see certain things on TV and media and stuff like that. We automatically go, well, we need more inclusion. Well, yeah, we fight for inclusion. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they're doing this for, like, we have to draw the line between offensive and art.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some things are blatantly offensive. Some
Right.
things that are done are completely and blatantly, and I will ride that. Look, if that's the case, if what Anne Hathaway did was basically went on stage with three fingers, basically mimic the disabled community, and talk smack and did all that, I'd be behind them too, sitting up there with rallying right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel that way, maybe because I'm not technically a part of that community. I don't know how to feel that way. But being a Black female in this community, I know how it feels to be offended by things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to pick our battles and let stuff roll off our shoulders sometimes. It's like, it's gonna be an apology, it's gonna be that. But again, who are you mad at? The Ninja Turtles? Like you said before, Ninja Turtles have three fingers. Are you mad about that? No.
So what? They just because they're turtles, they can't have feelings too?
But like I said, there's a lot of characters who displayed that in the past. And like, is it because she's humanoid that makes it difficult for people to kind of distrust? She's supposed to be a monster, not, or maybe because she's displayed as a monster that she has three fingers, so having three fingers makes her a monster. Is that what the kind of, I'm really trying to
that might be it.
I'm trying to piece it together in my head. I'm really trying to piece it together in my head. Is maybe like the representation of the monster and the three hands being put together. Basically, that's what's offending them.
It's at this point nobody knows these days in 2020. It's like,
here's what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I've observed. Because I was actually, while you guys were talking, I was actually trying to find some articles about it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know if there was really a outpouring of backlash, or was it like two tweets?
Mm-hmm.
And media outlets took that and ran with it.
Okay.
And then number two, was it actual people from this disabled? I didn't find an answer. Number one. Number two, were there actually members of this community who were offended, or
people like us,
or was it their mother?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it their siblings or their best friend or
mm-hmm.
like that? Because what I have observed from people who are actually a part of this community, they want to be treated like everyone else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they do make light of their own situation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that's okay for others too.
Yeah.
But in this case, that I don't believe they were.
Right.
And some people actually flat out tell you it's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's what I throw the Valhalla situation out there. The Valhalla situation, the person that I think we were looking at reporting it, they said, "Oh, my girlfriend has this. My girlfriend has this issue." Why would? So did your girlfriend get mad at the game, or did you get mad at the game? That's the question, and that's the same kind of thing that Tani was saying, is that basically, who is it that's actually going out here getting mad? It's another question. That's a very good question to throw out there. But I really would love to hear from anybody from that community. I really want to like piece this together, because I want to understand. I want to understand what the outrage is about it. And I want to understand why, if it was people or person or persons that were mad. I would love to know why, because I personally don't see it. But again, I'm not part of the community, so I don't understand.
Right.
And it would help me to understand.
The community, I still don't understand. But I think that I should just always take myself out of the equation, because it's really hard to offend me. So I'm like, even with us in our community, and something comes up saying that it was offensive to us, I'm like, I mean, I guess, but it ain't that serious, ain't that deep.
It's
It all depends. You got to pick your battles.
Yes.
It's
You got to pick your battles. So
I mean, at the end of the day, people just apparently have time to be offended now. It's like I don't know. Like, I mean, we could say that people have had time for the past couple of years. I mean, honestly, but I don't know. It's like seems to be like a waste of time and energy for something that was most likely unintentional.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's people. I don't understand. I don't know. People need to start finding some hobbies or something. I mean, but
Like I said, if anybody, knows somebody in the community or knows somebody who knows more about the situation, anything like that, please feel free. Have a conversation. Let us know, because I like I said, I really want to know. I personally want to know. So, I really want to know what the whole outrage is and what the entire situation is going on and why this is happening. Because that way I can have a better understanding.
right.
You know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we lost someone from our childhood who's been around for longer than some of us have even been alive. Mr. Alex Trebek passed away recently from pancreatic cancer.
Mhm.
As long as I've been alive, I've always known him from Jeopardy. I know I think he was only hosting Jeopardy for like maybe 37 years. I think that's how long he's been doing it. But he's always been a part of my childhood growing up. Like from when my grandmother was alive, and my grandmother used to love her game show. So anytime we went over there, it was Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
And that was it. So I was very much good friends with Alex Trebek and Pat Sajak and Vanna White. But but Alex Trebek, he ended up becoming a pop culture icon over the years. He really did. Because it wasn't just Jeopardy that he did. Like, he made like a lot of guest appearances on like TV shows and like movies and stuff and cartoons. So he's been a part of everyone's lives over the years. Like I think he was diagnosed, or at least we found out that he had pancreatic cancer like maybe like what? How many months ago?
I'm not sure.
It was like I feel like it was like early in the year that we found out that he had pancreatic cancer. And he was hanging in there for a minute, but then like I believe it was like what? Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. It was Sunday that news broke out that he finally succumbed to pancreatic cancer. And it's like, we lost one of the best TV personalities out there, quizmaster extraordinaire, as I would say, because again, aside from Pat Sajak, nobody else has really hosted a game show for as long as he did. Regis Philbin hosted Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for a certain period of time, but then they changed up, and that's when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire got corny.
Regis Philbin was known for a lot of things.
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, it's Regis Philbin, so he was that dude. I mean, how many hosts have Family Feud have?
It's still weird to think that he passed away this year too.
Yeah, we lost Regis Philbin this year also. I almost forgot. He passed away early in the year, so we lost him. So, this year's been rough, man. It's been really rough. But,
yeah, he surpassed Bob Barker's reign on The Price is Right, Sajak did.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to be,
One thing I always say though, if you look at a lot of the old pictures of Alex Trebek, you could have sworn he was a black dude, because he had a serious fro and mustache working back in the day. Like there was like a couple of meme pictures flying around like a couple of months ago where people were saying like, no, Alex Trebek is a whole black dude, okay? Like he was like the pictures.
Somebody go find his parents.
I mean, he's Canadian. He was born in Canada, but
some of the best people come from Canada. I'm starting to realize that
his son is a DJ. He's or at least I think a nightclub DJ or a nightclub owner or something like that. I don't know what his daughter does. He has two kids. But he's been again. He's a pop culture icon. He's been spoofed on specifically on SNL with Will Ferrell, which is probably some of the my most favorite segments from SNL when Will Ferrell was on it, where he played Alex Trebek and he did Celebrity Jeopardy. I love them shits. But you know, you know, for a while, especially when my grandmothers were alive, I was like heavy into Jeopardy. Like I would like to literally sit there and try to answer the questions myself. Like, and we've all done that. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Hey, I got some of those answers right. Dang it.
like the kids or the college, not regular.
Yeah.
No, I answered the questions right sometimes. Don't.
I mean, if it was
Sometimes.
if it was like a pop culture thing, I was in there. But like some of the other stuff, like I'd try, but yeah. But
I amaze myself sometimes playing Jeopardy.
Those ones about Black culture are always funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you look at them, it's like people really don't know this. Wow.
Nah.
But the crazy, the most amazing thing I saw from his passing was I think it was one of the most recent contestants, and it was very sad what he said. I actually teared up a little bit. He learned how to speak English just from Jeopardy.
Yeah. He said that his father used to sit him down. They used to sit down and watch Jeopardy together. And that's how he learned English. I think it was an Indian guy.
Yes, he was.
Man
of Indian descent. He said he learned how to speak it, and then he ended up on the show.
Wow.
So imagine that. Like, imagine you're growing up as a kid, don't speak a lick of the language, learn it from watching a game show, and end up on that game show as an adult. That's like a dream come true.
I think one of the executive producers put out an official announcement after he passed. They're still going to be running his episodes. In fact, I think he filmed all his episodes of Jeopardy, and I think the last one is going to be aired on Christmas. That'll be Alex Trebek's final Jeopardy episode. So
the people are already petitioning for his position already, though.
Like two names that I've seen pop up.
I thought he named who he felt his replacement should be.
Who did he say?
I didn't look it up.
Okay.
But I did see an article floating around saying that he named who he felt his replacement should be.
I've seen two names pop up, but everyone keeps saying LeVar Burton should host Jeopardy.
Actually, I think he should too. I think he'd be a very good choice because he's very much that same type of demeanor.
Yeah. Other people are saying Ken Jennings, who was like one of the most recent big names to come from Jeopardy. He was a contestant, and he was I think he was on there for like a good stretch of time, just constantly winning. So people say him, but I'm like, I wouldn't.
He doesn't have personality. You gotta have a.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw a contestant as a game show host. I wouldn't do that. Like, I could see LeVar Burton taking over the role of Quizmaster for Jeopardy. I could see that happening.
I can totally see that because I'm like he like you look at him, his whole demeanor, his whole presence.
Yeah.
It's very, very professional, very much, he has a personality. He can laugh, he can joke when he needs to. He can, have stage presence. I can totally see that, and it'll be a big, it'll be a complete change from the norm. But I think it'd be a good change, to be honest with you. Talk about inclusion.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen plenty of game shows, change hosts over the years. Family Feud is a big one of them. I think within our lifetime, we've seen Family Feud have like maybe 4 or 5 hosts of the show. Like, I think by the time we were born, I don't know who the host was, but I remember Louis Anderson being the host at one point. Richard Karn.
What's his name was
John O'Hurley.
Drew Carey was at one point too, I believe.
And then our latest one is Steve Harvey. I think he's been hosting Family Feud for a few years now. So he's like the latest one.
Let's see. Family Feud host. If I can spell feud right. Richard Karn, you said. Louis Anderson.
So this was 2 years ago. But Alex Trebek named some woman named Laura Coates as his potential successor.
Was she a contestant?
I have no idea. Let me read this.
Contz.
Coates, Coates.
Laura Coates. Oh, American legal analyst Laura Coates.
I'm reading this. I'm just to see what she was saying.
The
former assistant U.S. attorney.
She's a black girl too.
I'd roll with that too.
She's a black girl. She's a CNN senior analyst.
I can roll with that. That's fine. I can roll with that too. It's all good.
I had to look that up real fast. I'm like that name sounds too familiar.
He says, again, this as of 2 years ago, Trebek said his list proved the point that people need to see diversity in high-profile roles before they can imagine it.
And you know what? And honestly,
as all potential successors were much like Trebek, white and male.
Yeah, I sent you guys her profile, by the way, so that way you guys can see her.
He also named Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, I'm not. Anderson Cooper's on everybody's, you know what list right now.
Yeah.
So Anderson Cooper is really touch and go right now.
Why? What do you do?
No comment. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
He made a comment about a certain person and a turtle.
Wow.
Oh, that was just funny.
Yeah.
I don't care. That was funny to me.
But the thing is that Jeopardy is one of those shows that no matter who you are, you kind of watch it.
Yeah.
And Anderson Cooper's on there right now. People are probably going to boycott it.
I don't think he'd give up his position
he has a
on
good
CNN. I don't think he'd give that up.
Alex Trebek actually opened up about his diagnosis 2 years ago.
Damn. Okay.
Which is interesting because actually pancreatic cancer has a low survival rate.
Yeah, it does.
Because isn't that what took out our king, Chadwick?
Yep.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs, Aretha Franklin.
Pancreatic cancer is I believe they call it. It's like a sneaky one.
By the time you catch it, it's too late.
It's done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sneaky one. It's a very sneaky cancer.
So yeah, so this is another article. So Alex Faust is another one that came to mind.
Who?
Alex Faust. Apparently he was a
sportscaster.
He was a hockey announcer.
Yeah.
31 years old, not bad. I mean, I guess it'll be a while.
Yeah, it'll be
before they name a host and stuff, So
it's going to be a trial and error. It's going to be it has to be somebody that people respect and that people, that's what I said. That's going to be it's going to be a hard touch and go thing because. They're gonna look for somebody that people respect, and they're gonna, that the people are gonna become that new icon again because whoever it is going to be the face of Jeopardy now.
He also already works for the show.
Oh well, there we go. All right.
He's not only the highest earning participant or contested. We gave him a job.
There we go.
He's a consulting producer. He's also a brand ambassador.
All right, so he's pretty much set there.
It could be a toss up. You never know.
So
they might, they might do. They might even trial out people like they did with, Family Feud before they get to somebody permanent. Because that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
that they'll keep cycling people out, and then they'll trial out somebody for a minute, like and then they don't work, they'll trial out another one. They don't work.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, it can't be a funny man. So you're not gonna put a Wayne Brady in there.
Yeah.
So you can't be a funny man. It has to be somebody who has that kind of.
Has to be like a straight man. It has to be like a straight man. Yeah.
That can put out a sarcastic joke and just a chuckle, and that's it. And just keep moving. That's where we're at right now. So it's gonna be it's like replacing Mr. Rogers at this point. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is all speculation.
Mm-hmm.
The show has not made any official announcements, and they have not made any speculations on who was replacing them.
Mm-hmm.
They just said that they are going to continue to air Alex Trebek shows until they play out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it could be they could just stop it at this point. They could have been like, you know what, we're done. Have a nice day.
I mean, because I was just going to say, I would imagine that Jeopardy is one of the shows that brings a lot of, streaming to ABC. So like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, those are ABC staples at this point. So, I don't imagine them giving those shows up right away unless they just revamp the whole program into something else completely different. Like they did with Millionaire every year and stuff. They just revamp it and add something new to it or something like that. But I mean, again, like I said, they still got a whole bunch of episodes with Trebek in as the host, so they're gonna let those ride. And we'll just have to wait and see. They're probably gonna be spending this time just trying to brainstorm and figure out, who can replace him or what they can do to change the show up a little bit or something. We got a minute. So But they did say that Alex Trebek spent his last few days at home with his family, watching the horizon, watching the sunrise and sunset. So he was able to, be around his loved ones and stuff before he left. So, all I gotta say is rest in peace to Alex Trebek. You were like a mainstay in our childhood. So.
Yeah, and Betty White, don't you dare think about it.
Look, she hanging in there, man. We just got.
Don't you dare.
She hanging in there.
She is the last woman standing.
She really is. She's the last golden girl. So we gotta, yeah. But
goodness. Telling you.
As far as other entertainment news, I don't really got too much. I was reading something about Star Wars, something Star Wars related also. George Lucas revealed recently that he had planned on having Darth Maul be the main antagonist for the sequels for Star Wars.
I would have loved that.
And the focus was going to be more so on Princess Leia and things like that. I think that would have been interesting. I think I would have loved to see that.
I love Darth Maul as a character, and I think that he needed more development.
I mean, I'm glad the Clone Wars series and stuff really utilized him very well. They weren't finished with him, so I was happy about that. But I would have loved to see them still in the movies and stuff.
Yeah, and, it was even if we got something on Darth Maul, even if Disney, are you listening? Don't mess it up if you do it. Even if you got a Darth Maul movie, if you got a legitimate backstory to Darth Maul in the movies, that would be nice for the people that legitimately don't want to go to the cartoons or want to, just so they can have that kind of moment. That'd be wonderful.
Right. So, we'll see what Star Wars is doing. If so far all their TV stuff is working, Mandalorian is still doing gangbusters.
I believe they were talking about one of them making another TV series, from what I understand.
I believe so. I don't remember what it's going to be based off, but I know they were talking about that because right now, this seems to be the best way to go. Instead of trying to produce another movie.
It's cheaper.
There's so many different avenues. There's so many different parts of the Star Wars universe that they can explore in a TV series. So we'll see what happens with that. Speaking of TV series, we finally got an official release date for WandaVision. So January 15th, 2021, we are in there. You're going to be in there with WandaVision. So at least we got something with that. Still don't know what's going to be happening with Falcon and the Winter Soldier or the Loki series or any of the other Marvel things coming to Disney Plus. But honestly speaking, I'm really excited for WandaVision. Huh?
And Disney better not come up with any ideas about charging extra for any of that stuff either. Because I swear on my life, I'm like, I'm like, I feel as though I feel it in my bones. I feel it. It's like, oh, I can like, if you want Marvel content, you have to pay another $10. What?
Well, like, how many people got like what, a year subscription for free if they had like what, Verizon or something mess like that?
Yeah, I got it by accident.
Some people gotta start paying that piper real soon. But
like me.
But between WandaVision, the only other Marvel thing that I'm really interested in is what ifs. I'm interested in those. I can't wait for that to come out. I think those are going to be pretty cool. But that's what's happening on the Disney Plus side. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I'm so bad. Like, we're really so bad. We don't skim through like Hulu or Netflix enough to see what's new on there. I try to do it at least every couple of weeks or so, see if anything new that's dropped that I might be interested in. But
I've been looking at documentaries half the time, so most of my time is crime document. I've been looking at crime documentaries. That's my guilty pleasure. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to anything else. Oh, the new horror movie that's on there is really good, from what I say. Was it His House or His Home or something like that? They're on Netflix.
We didn't really do a lot of horror movie watching over Halloween. No.
Watch Bad Hair though.
You did. We watched.
Oh God.
We watched the Bear, and you know what? Bad Hair. It's cheesy. It's hokey, but that's the whole point. It wasn't bad.
It's not supposed to be good.
Exactly.
Oh God.
That's the thing. It's not supposed to be like a good movie. It's supposed to be like a play on those old school horror movies.
It's not supposed to be good. The acting was good.
Yeah.
You got Blair Underwood, Vanessa Williams, and Usher and Kelly Rowland, and
the cast was good. James Vanderbeek was in there. The premise, cheesy as it was, it worked.
Relatable. Like the real stuff, relatable.
It kind of worked. Like, yeah, a lot of the little social commentaries that the movie had, definitely very apparent even today. So, because the movie's supposed to take place in the 80s, like 1989, as a matter of fact. So,
I mean, natural hair is definitely more accepted now, but
it's a pain in the neck.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I refuse to dread my hair at this point.
I know.
I keep my hair twisted, but I keep it twisted too long that it starts to lock.
But that's it. That means you gotta start moisturizing more.
Yeah.
Moisturize.
Yeah, but then they unravel. So, yeah.
We were supposed to watch Vampires in Vampires in the Bronx. We haven't watched that yet.
We should watch that if I have time this weekend.
If I wanted to watch Vampires in the Bronx, all I gotta do is take a stroll.
But I did like the fact that they tacked on the whole gentrification thing to it. So I do like that these movies are trying to apply some real world instances into them. So I haven't watched Tales from the Hood 3 yet. I got burned by Tales from the Hood 2. I got burned from that. But from what I'm hearing, Tales from the Hood 3 is supposed to be pretty decent. So at some point I'll try to find it and watch it. Maybe, I don't know.
I heard Kim's Convenience was really good too. I don't know when that came out, but I heard that was really funny. So that's probably gonna be. I'm actually gonna put that on my list now.
We actually watched Blumhouse's The Invisible Man. I dug it.
I saw something else by Blumhouse. What was it on? Is it Prime that has the Blumhouse movies?
Who?
Amazon has the Blumhouse movies,
Amazon
right?
Prime. I think Amazon Prime usually has the Blumhouse movies and stuff.
Yeah, it was another one that I watched on
and I
there.
think Hulu also. I think Hulu does too. Some of them, but not all of them.
I'm trying to think. Now you're making me go through my list now.
Actually, we caught a couple of Blumhouse things. We caught Truth or Dare, which wasn't. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like.
It was bad.
It wasn't super bad. Some of the things didn't make sense in the movie though, but like, we watched Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I never need to watch it again. The Invisible Man was actually really good. I actually kind of dug what they did with the premise for it. It was interesting. But Blumhouse is trying to remake a lot of shit. Like, I think Blumhouse is trying to remake Friday the 13th.
Ew.
I don't know
Blumhouse is
why.
just trying to make money because
Yeah.
at this point, Blumhouse is basically hemorrhaged so much. Blumhouse has become known for very terrible horror movies. That's bottom line, Blumhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they put out B movie after B movie after B movie, and it's just so bad. And you kind of feel bad for them because they really are trying. It's really, you could tell they're trying so hard.
Look, horror movies aren't the same anymore. They're really not.
Yeah.
I mean, horror movies never really scared me anyway, but, like, how many times is Jason gonna come back? Like, come
Well,
on.
so you're not watching the right horror movies. You got to switch over to the ones that aren't American. American horror movies
Okay.
terrible.
I will concede to that because I do think foreign horror movies be like going way above and beyond with their shock value. I will admit that. That is true.
All right. So I am a half an hour late for my meeting.
Oh.
Oh,
So I am going to cut. I am
Okay.
going to cut out.
Yep, sorry.
Okay.
So I will see you guys later.
All right.
Hey.
Bye bye.
I didn't do it.
Just trying to think. Is there any other entertainment news that dropped? Like, I mean, not much else really. So.
Oh, I watched The Craft, by the way.
Oh yeah, you watched the new Craft Legacy. Rather.
Yes, that's what it is. I watched Craft Legacy.
Mm.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went. It totally went. Much different. Much different than the first one, but the acting is pretty bad, in my opinion. The script could have been a little bit better. I mean, I saw what they were trying to do with it. I really did.
Yeah.
But I think they could have did better.
Oh dear.
I think that's what the first one tried not to do. The first one didn't take itself too seriously, but it made it good. This one tried to take itself seriously, and it made it the opposite. When I know people that like they're in between. Oh, I loved it. I'm like, I just can't get past the acting. I think the acting was terrible personally, but that's your judgment call. So if you watch it, I'd wait till it's rentable, not buyable right now.
But isn't it on Netflix though or something like that?
No, it is on Amazon Prime. You gotta rent or buy. To rent the movie is $19.99 right now.
Nah, that's okay.
Yeah, so I would wait till that goes down a lot more before you rent that, because you might as well buy the movie at that price. It's $24 to buy it.
No, I'm okay. That's all right. That's all right.
So yeah, I definitely watched that. It wasn't that great, but they do have a movie called The Lie on there. I'm looking at Blumhouse's stuff. Nocturne, Evil Eye, Fantasy Island. Hold on, wait a second. Pause. Also on Stars. That's why. A horror adaptation of the popular 70s show.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Yeah, we watched that.
You watched that?
Yeah.
How was it? It was okay. It was like.
It was alright. It wasn't like horribly bad, but like. Yeah, it's just one of the things. Like I may not necessarily have to watch it again, but
Yeah, but I tell you right now, Truth or Dare was horrible. I don't care what you have to say to me.
Yeah.
Truth or Dare was terrible.
Speaking of terrible, I want to jump on these people that were basically spamming Lashana Lynch's social media to the point where she had to like shut those things down because she's the new 007. Like, people, it's 2020. Every James Bond up until this point has been a white dude. And I have nothing against those guys. Roger Moore, Sean Connery, may he rest in peace. Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, even Daniel Craig. I have nothing against those guys, but at least they're trying to do something different with the story now. Like by giving 007 status to a woman of color. It changes it excites the story now, but because people are so fragile and they want to have their James Bond their way, they just felt the need to spam her social media to the point where she had to quit. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm still go see No Time to Die. I'm still go see it because you guys are just impossible. Like you really are. Like, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, I really don't even know anymore.
It's whatever.
Yeah, but
Bottom line.
yeah, but other than that, I think that's pretty much all I got for as far as entertainment news. I don't really got anything else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those were some of the major things that stuck out to me as being noteworthy. So, rest in peace to Sean Connery and Alice Trebek. I hope Johnny Depp finds a way out of this. I'm glad. I'm just glad. I'm just glad he's still getting his money. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad about that. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, if we're gonna be honest here, Amber Heard should be
It was as if you're gonna do one, do the other. But
like
yeah,
if
definitely. Luckily for him, he still has Tim Burton.
right. So see, the thing is, Johnny Depp, for what it is, he's still gonna find some work because people are always gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a demand for him. Amber
Mm-hmm.
Heard, you don't really see Amber Heard in much of anything.
That's why I said she's easy. That's why I said she's easily replaceable.
So you know, there's that. Okay. Um, and again, nothing against Mads Mikkelsen, nothing against him. I love him, but nah, this character, like just certain characters were just written for certain actors in mind.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. You know, Umbrella Academy season 3 is coming. I gotta finish season 1 and watch season 2. I'm still gonna watch The Mandalorian. You know, I can't wait for the next episode. What is it? What's tonight? Thursday? It's probably gonna drop tonight. Is that
Mandalorian?
unless I'm bugging. Like they don't usually drop it early, right?
Mandalorian, no.
So yeah, I'll be watching it tomorrow because it's The Mandalorian. It's one of the best things Star Wars has right now. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. So we'll be back again next week. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a post PS5 launch show and get everyone's thoughts and how they feel about the console so far. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll do something. Like I said, we ain't getting one anytime soon. So you can, you know, I guess hold your breath on that one. Like I said, next year, that's when it's going to be time to strike. But right now, there's still a lot more life in the PS4. There really is.
And you might as well tell them about the schedule coming up anyway, as far as what we're doing.
So we're going to come back next week with another show. And then, starting from Thanksgiving on, we'll be on hiatus until next year. We will come back in December for another watch party. So we're going to try to pick out a Christmas movie. I vote the Christmas Chronicles 2. But that's just me.
Yeah, look, I'm going for that shark movie I saw, Santa Shark. I'm working on that one right now.
So maybe that'll be our
Santa Jaws.
So maybe we'll do that. So
maybe just leave it to you guys. Which one should we do?
Yes.
Which one should we do? Santa Jaws or
the Christmas Chronicles 2, Lord? Or if you have any other Christmas related movie you want us to check out, suggest it to us. We'll work it in. We'll vote on it. The council will vote on it if we're gonna watch it or not. But more than likely we'll probably do that the week before Christmas, not the week of, because I think Christmas is on a Friday this year, right?
Christmas is on a Friday, so it's New Year's.
So let me just double check that. Let me just make
sure. It's on a Friday. Yeah, it's on a Friday this year, so it's New Year's.
All right, so that watch party will most likely be on the 17th. That is the Thursday before the week of Christmas. So that's when we'll do our watch party. So Santa Jaws, I don't know how they're doing this. The Christmas Chronicles 2, or if you got any other holiday movie you want us to watch or you want to join us on for our watch party, suggest it to us. We'll be happy to look at it and check it out.
Look, and if you want us to pitch why we picked the movies we wanted to pick, we will pitch it for you right now. I will pitch this movie and why we need to watch it.
Exactly. So it is in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. It is in your hands of what we're going to be watching during the Christmas break. That's going to be interesting. But again, like I said, we'll be back with another show. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Should we just do like a Q&A or something like that next week to close out the remainder of the year?
Or yeah, we could do just maybe like a what do you call it? Me kind of put everything in a bag and just pull everything out and just see what sticks. So sure, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. We'll figure out what next week's show is going to be about. But next week's show will kind of essentially be the last show for the year, aside from our watch party in December. So we will catch you guys next week, same time, 8:00, and then that'll be that. I want to thank everyone that came into the chat. Davion, thanks for coming through. Isan, Smoke and Mirrors. I know a lot of you guys probably already left or anything. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, next year we're gonna definitely try to be better with announcing what our show for the week is gonna be about, so you guys can prepare yourselves and be ready for it. All right. So we're gonna try to get our social media engagement up. I'm going to probably use the hiatus to try to get our Patreon together so we can get that rolling, so you can catch some of our stuff there with a small donation, of course. And
we'll probably just try to be more vigilant in making even more daily videos for the actual page itself.
Yeah.
So that'll give me some time. I have a lot of things going on right now as far as things are concerned, but I have a little bit of free time in December to kind of look up editing and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to actually work on editing and see, if we can start doing more shows or even doing sometimes even like gaming.
So in fact, that's another thing we're definitely going to work on over the hiatus too. We're just going to work on trying to get our gaming situation together, so we can do some live stream gameplays and stuff, because honestly speaking, those seem to be easier than even just the watch parties, even though the watch parties haven't been bad. But gaming, they've made that really simpler these days. So we're going to try to figure that out. All of us at this point have a PS4. So it's just figuring out some of the little minor details and logistics of it and stuff. And we'll get it together. So all that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, the council has spoken. We'll see you next week for our last show of the year. You guys take care. We're out.
You were watching Council of the Blurs, a Geekcast. The council has spoken. End transmission.